We are the great one into class. Our last unit was on system and organization.
We looked at many things that were organized and unorganized in our classroom. We identified the system in the story fortunately solved the problem, unfortunately created a problem. We used the system and organized ourselves to write stories in groups.
On the new computers in the classroom, we use a drawing program to illustrate our pictures.
We hope you enjoy our fourth story.
Terrible Space Adventure by Jacob, Sonu, Shirta, Jack, Corinne. Once upon a time, there were Jacob, Sonu, Corinne, Shirta, and Jack. They lived in Hawaii with no mother and father.
But Jacob, Sonu, Corinne, Shirta, and Jack were so friendly. One day they decided to go to space with a UFO rocket. But they can't breathe, so they took air tanks.
If it was so high, the UFO would shoot up.
Unfortunately, they didn't have any spacesuits.
Fortunately, they had a lot of money and bought the spacesuits. Unfortunately, something was wrong with the UFO rocket and they didn't know it.
Fortunately, someone decided to walk around and they saw it broken, so they wanted to fix it.
Unfortunately, the toolbox was real, but the tool was toy, so it didn't work.
Fortunately, there was another toolbox, and those were real.
Unfortunately, they didn't fit it.
Fortunately, we could still go out to space. Unfortunately, we crashed into Jupiter and the UFO rocket broke in pieces.
Fortunately, it was a dream.
The end!
Fly Maria's First Summer Holiday by Kay, Mamoe,
Belanai,
and David. One summer, Flat Maria went to New York for a holiday. When she was in New York, she wanted to swim. Unfortunately, she forgot to pack her swimsuit.
Fortunately, a taxi driver took her to the shopping street.
Unfortunately, the taxi didn't know where the shopping street was.
Fortunately, another taxi came. Now she could buy the swimsuit.
Unfortunately, the store was closed. Fortunately, La Maria was very flat, so she could go under the door. So she bought a swimsuit.
Unfortunately, it was raining, so she could not swim. Fortunately, the rain stopped, so she could swim. Unfortunately, it was time to go back to Germany and she couldn't swim. Unfortunately, it was time to go back to Germany and she couldn't swim. Fortunately, her mother told her next summer holiday she can go.
The end.
Hard
Trip to the mountain.
by the
Nina,
Rose
Mia.
A boy named Nate was invited to a camp in the snowy mountain.
Nate was so excited to go to the camp, so he started packing.
Fortunately, Nate found a good-sized suitcase for packing the stuff for camp.
Unfortunately, his suitcase was broken. Fortunately, he had a big bag to put in his things. Nate caught a Shinkansen to get to the camp.
Unfortunately, Nate stayed too long in the Shinkansen and passed his stop that he needed to get off. Fortunately, he woke up at the last station and his bicycle was parked there.
Unfortunately, Nate was chased by a bear on his bicycle.
Unfortunately, he fell off his bike and rolled down a white mountain.
Fortunately, Nate rolled into the campsite. He was happy to be in the campsite.
The end.
Deke and Kona Go to Space by Devon,
Bona.
and Zeke.
Once upon a time, there was a boy named Deke and a girl named Kona. One day, they were invited to space by their friend Enoch.
Unfortunately, they didn't have a spaceship. Fortunately, they won a poker game and got $1 billion.
Unfortunately, they dropped and lost $1 billion. Fortunately, they went to an ATM and stole $100 billion.
Unfortunately, the money they got from the ATM was fake money. Fortunately, somehow they got the real money back. Unfortunately, there were little bombs in the money, so the money exploded. Boom! Fortunately, Deke and Kona could put the money back together.
Unfortunately, they got robbed by a robber and lost $1 billion. Fortunately, they had enough money to rent a rocket. Unfortunately, up in space, the aliens attacked Deke and Kona. Fortunately, Deke and Kona were good at video games, so they beat 100 aliens. Unfortunately, more aliens kept coming to attack Deke and Kona. Fortunately, it was the aliens' bedtime. Unfortunately, the sun was already up. Fortunately, the aliens got too hot and the aliens became alien jelly. Unfortunately, the spaceship also melted. Fortunately, they got into the escape pod.
Unfortunately, there was not much air in the escape pods. Fortunately, they found a space station and they also found a space party for them. They had a great time.
The end.